Hey, this is Ramon, Channel Alpha 4, and I just got out of Mass. And I thought I'd talk about something related to the biblical series, and I want to include it in that playlist. And I want to clear up some misconceptions about Catholics. I've been watching a lot of religious debates on the stupid YouTube, and there's a lot of misconceptions, not just from atheists, but from other religious people, Protestants really, Baptist, Hebrew, and even Islam has some major misconceptions about what Catholicism is. And lately, this guy named Steve Bannon has decided to throw his weight around about what he thinks Catholicism is. So I thought I'd clear that up for you guys. First off, we do not worship saints, and we do not worship the Virgin Mary. We do not pray to her. We do not pray to saints. We pray through them, and we venerate the Virgin Mary, which is sort of the difference between honoring and obeying. I understand that there are idiots in every religion, and there are people who claim to be part of a religion that are not actually part of it. So, are there people who do pray directly to saints? Yes. Are they practicing Catholicism according to the Catechism? No. Are there people who use the rosary in magic? Yes. But Catholicism doesn't believe in magic, so they are not practicing Catholicism. Okay, do we worship three gods? No. We believe in the Trinity. We believe that God is three in one. Not three different figures. We are not Jehovah's Witnesses. We believe that God is one, that there are just different aspects to the Lord. And if you go back to the Old Testament, there's even a thing about seven spirits, so that gets even deeper. But that's a Judaism thing, not really a Catholicism thing. But anyway, three in one. Okay, so what else? Do we drink blood and eat flesh? That's an old one, goes back to the Roman times. No, we eat bread and drink wine. Now, for some Muslims, that's already a big no-no. And for some Hebrews, eating unleavened bread is a big no-no. But why don't the Catholics follow the kosher or halal laws? Good question. See, here's the thing. Paul is not Jesus. Paul is not even Peter. All of the disciples or apostles, they are Jews, Hebrews, okay? Every single one of them. But Paul, who came after Jesus died, was persecuting the Christians. He was, for whatever reason, he was going after the Christians for violations against Judaism, for violations against Roman law. He even took part in an execution against one of the first martyrs. So, what does that have to do with kosher and halal? Well, through Paul and Peter's arguments, the opening of the gates to the Gentiles happened. Well, what does that have to do with moi? It has to do with the fact that the religion in America, the United States of America, that is changing. We're becoming more Latin. We're becoming more Latin American, Hispanic. And as I said, Hispanic. I didn't say Latino or Latino-X or any of that crap. Hispanic. It's becoming more Hispanic and taking more native Latin American traditions and even traditions from Spain, Hispania. Okay, so each church, and this gets into this also, each church, each parish is allowed to have their own beliefs. There are only certain rules that the church has ever ruled on, that whole like infallible thing. It's only like three main ones. And that's it. So You have people inside the church who believe different things in the parish. You have people in the parish who believe different things in the diocese. You have different things in the diocese that believe different things than the broader church. And there are different rites, Ambrosian, Latin, and there's a third one, Memi something. Anyway, Eastern rites, okay? And then there are other schisms and other stuff like that. So there are different traditions, and what the church would do is when the church would come into a new community, it would adopt those traditions. What does that have to do with Gentiles? I am part Spaniard, but this is not the skin color of a Spaniard person. This is the skin color of a Native American. See, there were traditions in the Latin American countries where the natives, where the indigenous people, celebrated certain traditions. So the Catholic Church, doing what it had always done, which is adopt and adapt to the customs of the community it's serving, change those rituals from pagan rituals into religious, non-pagan rituals. They didn't sanctify the rituals or anything like that. They just allowed the ritual to continue, but they took away the idol worship or paganistic ideas and said, okay, well, if you're going to still do this, you can do the ceremony dedicated to God. Okay? It's a little simplistic, but basic, that's kind of the basic how that works, okay? So, there are certain traditions, like in Ireland, that don't exist in Spain. There are certain traditions in Spain that don't exist in Chile, certain traditions in Chile that don't exist in Colombia. Certain traditions in Colombia don't exist in Mexico. Certain ones in Mexico don't exist in the United States. And the United States is weird like that because you have everything from the north, which is going to look more Anglican, and everything from the south that's going to look more Latin American. So you'll have a lot more veneration of the Virgin Mary. If you want more information on that, go to Catholic Answers. They really explain where that tradition comes from, because no, not the entire church venerates the Virgin Mary the way that the Latin Americans do. Okay? So, what does that mean? That means that as America changes, and as Catholics and Hispanics, because most Hispanics are Catholics, most, come into the country, you're going to have a lot of politicians and a lot of Steve Bannons try to understand what we are and what we mean to the politics. Well, here's the deal. Catholicism is a conservative religion, but compared to other conservative religions, it's very liberal. And confusing Protestantism with Catholicism is a mistake. Confusing the traditions from England with the traditions of Spain is a mistake. And confusing the traditions of northern indigenous people, so-called First Peoples, and Latin American indigenous people is also a mistake. The traditions are different. And we are not all one single block. Most of us were here living in the exact same area before America existed. We never left. There was no great migration. There was no trail of tears for us. We simply stayed. When the Spanish came, we became Spanish. When the French came, we became French. When the Texans came, we became Texans, or wherever else we were at, Californians. And then when the Americans came, we became American. We didn't travel anywhere. We didn't migrate anywhere. We didn't immigrate anywhere. We're just from here. And our blue-eyed, blonde-haired cousins, those are the guys that came from Spain. So just to kind of let you know and kind of give you some insight into what Catholicism is, what the changing of religion means. Don't listen to TYT. Don't listen to Steve Bannon. Don't listen to Trump on this. There's nothing scary. We've been here the entire time. most of us who have been here for multiple generations, like me, 4 generations, we have the same accent as you. So relax. Uh, yes, we're Catholic, and no, we're not some giant political party. We're just people. So I just wanted to clear up some few misconceptions about Catholics and Hispanics and the growing Latin community or Hispanic community in America. So there you go. Peace, like, subscribe, and hope that answers your questions.